Right in the studios, Madam Emma Osuado is here with us, and I'm excited. Emma Ado-Owusu is here with us. She's an image consultant and a branding coach. She's a CEO of Cobadem Image Consultancy. Today we're discussing building your personal brand identity. Building your personal brand identity. What is personal branding? I'll ask her that. And then how do we go about it? What are the advantages of personal branding? Is it something that we should all factor into what we do? Those are the kinds of conversations that we'll be having today. It's going to be quite exciting. So please don't touch your dial. We're coming back with a discussion that would help make you a better professional. It's building your personal brand right here on Personal Growth and Development Mondays with Madam Emma Ado-Owusu. So good morning, madam. Welcome to the studios of Z 101.9 FM.
Thank you. Nice to have you.
It's been too long. Where have you been hiding?
I was going to ask you that until I saw you on Facebook, and I knew no. You are
I'm hiding here. Is it long?
Yeah, it has.
It's been a while. We had some of these conversations, and for me, being in the personal development space over all these decades and having met folks like you, one of the first thing that comes to mind is you've been in this for long and you've stayed in it. I mean, what has been keeping you in this personal growth and development space?
Passion. It's all about passion. If you have passion for it, the reward, you derive reward when people are happy. So one of the key attributes of building a personal brand, which we're going to talk about, is passion. Without passion, you do not have a brand.
Interesting.
That's simple.
So personal branding. Let's start from the very basics to help our listeners. What is it? What is personal branding?
Well, if you are thinking of carving a niche in the industry, you need to actively engage in personal branding. So personal branding is about the uniqueness of you in a wide space.
Okay.
That's how I explain it. The uniqueness of you in a wide space. How you go about articulating what sets you apart from the crowd.
How you go about articulating what sets you apart. That is what personal branding is.
That's about personal branding.
Should we all stand out from the crowd? I mean, if we all stood out, would there be a crowd?
Good question. There will always be a crowd. For crying out loud, we're over 9 billion. I mean, even if 10% of us decided that we want to go into personal branding, there still be 8.1 billion people of a crowd.
Okay.
To see what we're doing. And the key thing is that buyers are becoming more conscious of their options. It's not like in the past when social media was poor and people didn't have access to professionals. Now they're spoiled for choice. So it's about he who waves the highest and the longest gets the attention that you need. And then you have the ability to convert it into monetary value, status value, or whatever value you want to convert it to. So you must stand out from the crowd in this day and age.
You must. It's a must.
It's a must.
Every professional.
If you want to go far, you have to. You definitely have to stand out in the crowd.
That's interesting. But so let's find out. So you're saying it's about how you market yourself, how you let the world see who you are and what makes you different, and that is what you're saying will take you far in your career. So let's start. What are the elements of personal branding that the listener who is on this dial today, what are the things the person should begin to look out for? And then we take it one step at a time. How do you work on that so that by the time we're done, we give them a full course on personal branding? for starters, where do I start from? So I'm listening to you today. I'm wondering, okay, I hear her. I think I would need personal branding. Where do I start?
So it starts with the journey of self-discovery.
Okay.
If you don't know who you are, how can you sell yourself to the outside world? We are multi-talented in various facets of our lives, but there must be something unique that you do extremely well that stands out. Therein lies your passion. You have the skill, you have that. You need to identify what makes you different from the lot. If I'm engaging with you, why would I want to work with you? What is the uniqueness of you? And it starts with you knowing who you are and where you want to go to. If you don't have anything you're passionate about, then what is the essence of branding?
Okay.
So you start by beginning to identify what makes you whom you are. And when you identify that, this is the narrative you want to send out to the public.
Okay.
And so in your having established whom you are, what your passion is, what you have to offer the people, you now know who you are.
Okay.
The next is, how do you translate that narrative to the public?
Okay.
So that they will also identify with you and say, yes, we agree. This is who you say you really are. And so in building a brand, you have to be clear about who exactly you are. We don't want to see you from multiple views.
Okay.
Then obviously you become a jack of all trades, master of none. That damages your brand. But if there's one thing you want to stand out for and you stick to it, then automatically you started the journey of personal branding.
Self-discovery, that's the start, the starting point.
Well.
Are we helping the young ones discover themselves earlier? Because I'm thinking some listening to us today will be at the age where they will be asking, at this age, do we need to do more at the basic level, or where does a person begin to discover? Do we wait for the person to grow enough to know themselves, or where does this whole self-discovery thing come from? Where does it start?
That's an amazing question to start with. So the journey of self-discovery begins from when you are aware of your environment.
That early.
So, for example, we as parents, we're normally told to expose our kids to a lot of experiences. It's for a reason. That way, they will be able to identify what they are really keen into. So, if you look at the young ones today, they're a bit lost. Why are they lost? Because what is being promoted on social media in terms of lifestyle and status is messing up their mind with regards to the journey you need to get there. I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm a very successful businessman and I have put up this front that shows I'm very successful, and I give people the impression that I work so hard and I'm very successful. Automatically, the youth will want to find out, okay, so what did he do? Okay, I did this, I did that, I do that. Now, for a genuine business, that is amazing to have that impact on them. But can you imagine when the youth discovers that they're actually into drugs or something illegal, and that is the front you're putting up? It confuses them. So they're like, okay, I want to be like you. So
do I also go do this?
Thank you. Do I also go do this, or do I also do that to be like you? So when the youths are growing up, they need to be exposed to positive experiences that will help in shaping up their mind and their thought process. And along the journey, they begin to identify what they are clearly interested in. And that's why I normally tell parents that it is all shades of wrong to compel your kids into a career that you are not able to accomplish in your lifetime. Or force your kids to become people they really are not. It's a facade. It will fall off. But when we expose them to different experiences, we are in a better position to shape their journey and help them in establishing that uniqueness in them. And then over time, they can use that in establishing a strong personal brand.
That's interesting, because I'm now wondering that should it not even be a conscious effort at that level to begin to add it to the curriculum of a sort? Not, I don't know, but I'm sure there are some schools that are strong on that, and somewhere they couldn't really be bothered.
Absolutely. I agree with you. So it starts from the curriculum. I mean, you being able to tell them that you can make a difference. You have the power to make the difference. look at what you are, develop areas that need to be nurtured, and then self-package yourself in such a way that when you go outside, you have something to offer. We see it a lot in the tertiary institutions. They graduate, they are lost. Some of them are extremely qualified, but they don't know their left from their right. So recently I was having a discussion with Madam Lucy. She's the Chief Executive Officer of Community Chocolates. And she was like, Emma, we need to actually put together a program where we can actually go to the tertiary institution and let them have their mind set up and made up before
they leave.
Before they leave. Let this be an active discussion, because some of them do not have the social experiences to actually appreciate the value of the talents that they have. But when we are in a position to nurture them, grow with them, they leave more confident and fully focused on their careers and their brand, because they already know where they are going to.
You think those coming out of our universities are ill-equipped to make it in these times that we're getting into, in terms of, are they ill-equipped in terms of their mindsets?
Not all of them.
There are great ones coming out.
There are absolutely great ones coming out. And these people who are coming up is because they have exposed themselves. Yes, they are well read. You know, they actually invest in personal development. So they've exposed themselves to certain opportunities for personal growth. So before they leave, they already know what, is out there, what they're going to do. But equally, there are people who are clueless. The idea is that once you're pretty, you talk well, you're eloquent, and you can, bat your eyes in certain places, that should open doors.
You can open some doors for you.
But that should not be the narrative at all.
I get. So now I go through. How do I do this self-discovery thing? Is there a test I have to write? What do I have to do to discover myself?
Good question. Now, let me ask you. What is one thing you can do for hours and not get tired of doing?
Yourself. I just talk.
You talk. And you flow with people, right?
Yeah. I think so.
It's a talent. It's a gift.
Okay.
So equally, in the journey of self-discovery, what do you do effortlessly?
That's the first question you ask yourself.
That's the first question.
What is it that comes naturally
to you, effortlessly? You are engaged in it and all that. For example, the other day, I was telling somebody that when it comes to personal grooming, if you ask me to talk about business suit, I can give you a 3-hour presentation just on
that one. I know. Between the two of us, I know.
So those are effortless things that you do. It can be you have the gift of baking, you have a gift of talent of talking, public speaking, you are eloquent in certain areas, and you do this without even thinking about it. Like, you don't have to even sit and rehearse. You go out there, you're in the spotlight, you're delivering. Those are your talents, and you need to nurture them, because these are the kind of things that already are part of you, part of your system, part of your brand. So it becomes easier to tap into that resource and then articulate it to the world, and in such a way that your narrative is believed by the people you want to build a brand.
So that's a point one, what comes naturally to you.
Yes.
So now you find what comes naturally to you. Is personal branding any different from, or what are the differences between personal branding and the corporate branding we see? What are the differences, or where do the two come in?
Okay. They are separate, but actually they have a romance going on in there.
Great.
Of some sort. Corporate branding is more, it's more deliberate, and they're talking about your signages, your logos, your core values. As a matter of fact, core values, if you're building a personal brand, you should have a core value, actually, a set of core values.
Okay, so that's a good point. Let's touch on that.
Okay.
Still in the self-discovery phase of personal branding, I must also discover my core values.
Thank you.
What do you mean by core values?
Core values are behaviors and attitude that informs your actions and your deliverables. If, for example, one of my core values is integrity. Integrity is a core value that works as a large umbrella, and a lot of things comes under integrity, like loyalty, faithfulness, commitment, and all that. So if I'm building a personal brand and I say one of my core values is integrity, it means that my code of ethics must be on point. my loyalty. It can be to my client, it can be to my business associates and all that. So in building a personal brand or even a corporate brand, you need core values. Without core values, you don't know where you're going to. Core values are there because they remind you of whom you are. If supposedly along the journey you begin to deviate, core values will bring you back. Charlie, you're going off. If I say, for example, I'm a kind person, I take kindness as my core value, it has to be seen in my actions and my relationships with people. So if I realize I'm being mean to somebody and I go back and I realize that my core value is kindness, it means that no, you're going off track. Go back and be kinder. So core values regulate our behavior, attitude, and how we deliver our brand in the eyes of the public.
Okay, so they become like the cardinal points around which we navigate. So
absolutely,
I'm thinking this. The guy has integrity as his core value, or the lady has integrity as a core value. She's in the corporate space and she's placed in a situation where she either compromises or loses her job. What would Madam Emma Adousu tell this person?
So what is your core value?
Integrity, yes.
Stick to it and refuse to compromise.
So it might even be detrimental, but because it's a core value,
stick to it. The thing with core values is that oftentimes we lose out on opportunities, but the benefit is down the road. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Core values, for some time, in sticking to your core values, you may feel as if you're losing out. Because Charlie, there, you can, do some.
Yeah.
There. But core values say, nah, you're not doing that. Don't do it. And you're like, oh, shit. So you go, you don't do it. But you realize that 2 years, 3 years down the line, somebody remembers that you could have compromised yourself, but you didn't. And what did they say? Oh, Mr. Halm, he's a man of integrity. Then you are feeling cool. Forgetting that it was your actions, in prior months or prior years that have enabled people to hold you and realize that you say what you do what you say you are. So core values are integral to building a personal brand. Without core values, you don't have a personal brand.
Without core values, you don't have a personal brand.
No,
okay. So now, and all this comes at the soft side of the whole discussion. Like now you know who you are. You have a set of core values. What next? So
now you have to sell your story to the world.
Is this where communication is coming in now?
Yes, because the thing with personal branding is that if you don't brand yourself, we will help you, we'll brand you nicely. So you cannot be inactive or decide not to take part in your brand.
Am I right, therefore, in saying that everyone listening to us today now has a brand, a personal brand?
Yes, right.
Whether they created it or
not,
or we created it for them.
Yes,
they already have it.
They have it.
So personal branding is being conscious about your brand.
Yes,
because you already have it.
You already have it, and then how you are communicating that brand to the public. I'll give you an example. This morning I was coming with an Uber, and when I entered the car, the guy looked soft. He looked nice. I was like, oh, okay. This guy looks like an affable guy. I mean, physically, because core values, your physical is very important.
We'll come to that.
Yes.
Yes.
When you're building a core value, your physical is important. But I thought, okay, this guy like a gentleman. He had the ring gun and stuff like that, and and we drove along and stuff like that. So I had a high impression about him. Okay, he wasn't saying much. I greeted him. He was courteous. He responded. I was like, okay, it's nice to have a gentleman drive you here. Until I saw a car trying to overtake him, and he said, "We are kwasia." I said, "Oh my goodness!"
He just lost out. The image and the action.
Thank you.
Didn't go together.
Debbie.
So in other words, we're learning. This is Personal Growth and Development Mondays right here on Z in the morning, and I am having a discussion with Madam Emma Adousu, who is an image consultant and branding coach, and she's the CEO of Kobadem Image Consultancy. She's saying your actions must go with the physical, the physical. So the internal is what we've worked on. You've discovered who you are. You have your core values. And then now you need to communicate. Now you're moving from the internal to the external. What are the things that we should look out for externally so that we are conscious? Now we are building our personal brand. What are some of the things we should look out for?
Behavior, attitude, and your look.
Behavior,
attitude, look, and expertise.
Behavior, attitude, look, and expertise. Okay.
Okay. I want to put that in a bunch because I don't want to rope it in with social media. That's a different ball of game altogether. So what do we mean by this? Okay. So when I was coming up, when I arrived here, I said to myself, you call yourself an image consultant. Look like one. Your makeup, your dressing.
You must look the part.
You must look the part. It's very important. And as I walked up the staircase, Emmanuel said, "You look good." I said, "Yay, I've passed. Yay!" I was happy.
Mr. Emmanuel Boatin.
Yes, he said.
My colleague.
As I was
he said, "You look good."
He said, "I look good."
Okay.
So he didn't know what that did to me when he said, "I look good," but he was giving me a pass mark on my appearance.
Okay.
And that made me feel good. Like
he's a great guy. Emmanuel Boatin is a great guy.
So I have passed that because how do you call yourself an image consultant and you look like scrap, for crying out loud? You know what image is, and you're consulting for people, to your clients. It has to be seen in your appearance, in your demeanor. So appearance is important. Then your dressing, your grooming, it's important.
I know Emma to be so crazy about personal grooming and looks, and sometimes in the early days I'm like, but this woman crowd, why? So today you are in studios with me. So behavior,
behavior, attitude,
looks, and your expertise. Let's start with you've been around corporate Ghana a long time, more than 1 decade. We've known each other that long.
Yeah, that long, absolutely.
What are the behaviors you've seen which are no for a great personal brand?
Okay. So what people do not understand is that when you're building a personal brand, it's a group thing, especially in the corporate world.
Okay.
You have your core values, you have standards you have set, but you need humans to execute that mandate.
Okay.
So when you're building a professional corporate brand, we need to see those values and standards in your staff.
Okay.
So it presupposes that if you tell me, especially if you're in the service industry, and you tell me you deliver excellent customer service, and I walk into your office, the grooming is not on point, your staff look disheveled, and on top of that, they don't even give me excellent customer service.
Okay.
That's a disconnect of some sort. Your brand is not branding anyhow. Your brand is not branding. And also, you also look at it from a professional perspective. You expect that the service industry where you find yourself or whatever business you're into, you should have ultimate expertise in it. It therefore means that you should constantly evolve in your workspace and what you do.
Does the average Ghanaian professional behave professionally? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
1 out of 10, 5, 6 out of 10.
Yeah, but that's not good enough.
It's not good enough. They can do better.
Yeah.
And that is why sometimes it looks as if I'm being difficult, but I'm not. And I'll give you a typical example. I had an eye appointment, and I spoke to the CEO of the company because the first time I was there, she handled my case, and I was taking my son there. And she tells me, I'll be in the office between 4 and 4:30, so I'll meet you up there and handle you. I was excited. It's not in my domain, so I had to take a car. I took a ride to I've paid money. I'm paying that money because you have assured me you're going to be there between 4 and 4:30. I go there at 4. I'm waiting for my son who's supposed to join me, and she's nowhere to be seen. So I sat and I was like, I know where these people are going to, but I'm just going to watch and see.
You're going to wait.
I'm going to
for
wait
the movie to finish playing out.
Before I do anything, because I know there was another doctor, there was another optometrist there, and I knew where he was going to, but I refused to say anything. And so I sat in there, my son joins me, and I told the receptionist, I said, yes, Madam said she'll be joining me. Where is Madam? She does not say anything to me. She gets up and goes straight into the room and then walks out and you can see the gentleman. And I said, excuse me, I don't have a meeting with a gentleman. I have a meeting with your CEO. He said, well, since she's not here, she said you can see him. And I said, but did you communicate that to me? Did she call me to communicate it to me? Madam, I'm sorry, I'm held up somewhere, but pending my arrival, I would like my assistant
To
to
start with
the process."
you.
Yes, that is what we talk about, excellent customer service. Stop taking your clients for granted. And I called out and I said, no, what you're doing is not acceptable. You're not telling me things. The person I'm expecting to see, whom I told you, I'm not seeing that person. So you should tell me that, no, this is the situation. So in the interim, say this person.
Okay.
So they have to apologize because they realize that is how it should be. But the question is that how many of us have that capacity, have that audacity to call out poor service?
We'll walk away.
We don't. But how do we change the story? Because some of them are delivering bad service without even knowing that that's what they're doing and it's affecting their brand.
So personal branding, your behavior must be on point, especially when you're in a corporate space.
Corporate.
Attitude.
Good. Attitude maketh a man.
Attitude maketh a man.
Yes, attitude maketh a man. Your attitude can make and unmake you. The mistake corporate Ghana sometimes make is the assumption that because you have the standard, the ethics, the core values, it is automatically, transferred to
into
your
the
staff.
employees.
Yes, to the employees.
But as employees, do you see Ghanaian employees with what is the attitude of the average Ghanaian employee?
If you want me to do it, tell me. If you don't tell me,
Ooh.
we are all here. We are all watching.
Initiative.
So it needs 0.00. So what you need to do is we need to train them. And that's my problem with sometimes corporate Ghana. They see training as a waste of money. But the business it is costing them, they have no idea. They have no idea. So the thing there is that you have a brand you have built in your mind. We don't know that brand. It's between yourself, you, God, and the universe. Translate it to me. Tell me what it is you want. And then when you realize that I have shortcomings, when it comes to my deliverables, train me, sit with me, show me, this is what I need to do. We don't do that. We expect the people to know automatically. Are we kidding?
But you left the university, you went to school, you brought your CV and we gave you the job. Don't you know you must have a great attitude? Why should it be the chief? You yourself, why should we worry ourselves about it?
That is a very good statement you're making. But the question is that the people you're employing, do they appreciate the value of personal development themselves? As far as they're concerned, well, they're at school. You have my degree. You say I'm an accountant. Give me the figures.
Let's do figures.
Let's do figures things. People on this customer service. What are your customers? I don't care.
Yeah.
Whereas their presence there, the space they're occupying in your company is having an impact with the relationship with your clients.
Looks. I know you are all about. We've had this looks discussion for a long time.
Looks is important.
How are we to look like as part of our personal branding journey?
Good question. Brand and look. You must look according to you yourself must look according to the brand you are building. How can you say you're a corporate executive? You are going to a boardroom meeting with sneakers. Who died? I'm not the meaning of that.
Who died? I'm taking sneakers into that. So
even if you own the business, so what?
You must look it.
Leadership by example. Look, I've trained corporate executives and I've seen everything. Some of them who appreciate the impact your physical look can have on your business brand. And some people who are like, we didn't know. So I now basically have an open mind. Because you think people should know, but really, really, they are clueless.
Who is better branded, male or female, in terms of the professional space?
In terms of looks?
Yes.
Women don't joke with their looks. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, women. Especially when they are in tune to what they need to do to look good. But my problem with them is they always get their dress code wrong.
Tell me about it. Now that's interesting to me.
You're going to an office. You're not going to a nightclub. What's the meaning of that? What's the blink for? You're doing lazy things. Why? Is it dinner party or what? Wedding?
Do you think they know? Are we aware of these things?
Good question. They don't. So we need to help them to help themselves and help your brand. Recently, I had a training with Ghana Gas. A lot of the ladies were clueless. They had no idea that a certain percentage of lace clothing on your clothes can move it from corporate to social.
A certain percentage of lace
In your
attire for the day could move it from
corporate
appropriate for work
to social to wedding attire. They were clueless, so we had to train them. They needed to know.
Oh my goodness. So people are coming to work,
Yes.
looking in a certain way. Okay, before we, let's leave the ladies for now. We'll come back.
Okay.
The gentlemen.
The gentleman, that one there.
Because whatever you tell me, I'll walk out of the studios and I'll begin marking the gentleman in Z Multimedia by it. What should the professional coming to work, regardless of the department, wear? The barest minimum you would expect if you walked into a place. What on Monday to Friday, what should that person look like?
Good, decent dressing, be it African print or how do I say, formal, like corporate, like office shirts. I expect if you're going to wear a necktie and your tie knot is dirty, it's a no-no for me.
Dirty tie knots.
I hate it. I mean, it's an eyesore. Or what also takes me off is shirt collars that are turned in or turned out. It gets to me. It's not. It's not.
Atima warriors.
No, it's not.
Is it not a money thing? I mean, the shirt.
I like that question. It is not a money thing when we have canter in the system.
Ooh.
So
that defeats. That defeats the purpose of or the argument about money.
Thank you.
That if you go to Katamantu, you can get a good shirt.
I was in Legono. I was picking my dressing in those days from Kant. And
when you were on campus? What hall were you in?
No, I was in a Equafo.
Amazing.
Equafo.
And you would go to Katamantu just so that you look.
I have to. Because at that time, I didn't have boutique Sika there. I don't have boutique funny Sika. I don't. So I go to Kanta. If it's sex first selection, indulge yourself. But at the end of the day, it's the results we want.
You look good and nobody know how much it costs.
You ask me, you tell me the dress looks expensive. I confirm that indeed it's very expensive. You didn't bring it from outside. Yes, the possibility is high. Because indeed, from outside, actually.
Yes.
So if you say UK, say, oh, definitely. High possibility, and that's a Europe. But the point is that you have to invest in your brand. It's you we're talking about here.
And it's not that expensive to invest in your looks.
No, it's not. It's not. Because I have seen it all. I have groomed low-end corporate people. I have groomed high-end corporate executive. If you have a budget, there is something in there for you. Money is not an excuse. Absolutely.
Money is not
an
excuse.
No, it's not. If you want us to go to Katamantu, no problem. Book a date with me, Ebeko. I will choose the size for you. No wahala. It's my job. It doesn't mean that if you don't have money, you can't afford me. If that's what you can afford, I'll help you. Why not?
And this I know for a fact because, like I keep saying, we've been talking this 10 years or so back. And okay, so you would say that there is a role organizations have in helping their employees look good or to brand themselves well.
Correct, 100%. I'm not going to add, I'm not going to take off from what you've said. That is absolutely on point.
Banks are giving clothing allowance. Bankers are giving clothing allowance. Some other organizations do. In an organization where I am not, you still say, look.
Yes, it's you. It's about you. Forget your company. That's the problem we make. So if they don't
give me allowance, I'll wear anything I want.
Yeah, you wear anything you want until maybe somebody who is headhunting sees you're qualified, they look you up and down. I'm like, nah, you're not a fit. Do it for yourself. Forget your company.
Do it for yourself. Forget your company.
If they give you, fine. If they don't give you, fine. Your benefactor, your caregiver will locate you because your packaging of yourself is so good that they want you. So build the attraction for yourself.
Let me find out. There are those that have argued that the call for personal branding puts unnecessary pressure on people to look a certain way.
Who's putting pressure on me?
You're putting pressure like, hey, now I must be conscious of the way I behave and the way, is it not too much pressure? Why don't I just wear anything and go about my day?
If somebody talks to you about personal branding, they have an affection for you. They know your value, but you yourself, you don't know your value. You don't know what you're capable of. Somebody tells us, you can do better. I know what you're capable of. Thank them, because they're probably seeing a hidden gem in you, which you are probably, your eyes, your spectacles are too blurred to see. So if they're asking you to brand yourself, sit down, draft out a plan. What areas are we looking about here? Are we talking about here? Is it in your grooming? Is it in your attitude? Is it in your communication skills? Let me tell you, some people have amazing ideas.
Okay.
But the way they communicate it is a disaster. Maybe you may need to work on that to improve your image or brand. When somebody says, work on your personal brand, it's a generic statement. Ask them for the specifics of that statement and then run with what they've told you. Because we are on the outside. We are the crowd.
We're looking at you.
We are looking at you. And so we are like your mirror. And so if somebody tells me and said, Emma, certain things you do, I'm not comfortable with it. I should not easily get offended. I should take my time and listen in and see that if there's a reason for that, then maybe I can adjust it. That way, we can all seek ways and means of building a more coherent brand.
Final words before I let you go. Now, you definitely must come back. This conversation cannot end here. All too soon, my time is up. But final words before I let you run into your next meeting.
So when it comes to personal branding, we're asking you to control the narratives. You control the image you want people to have of you. Yeah, there are set standards in society and all that, but you also have your values. Merge with them. Be able to flow irrespective of what circle you find yourself within. And, be of value to people. Let the room light up when you walk in, not grow dim when you are there. That way, you are building a fantastic personal brand.
Thank you once again. Listeners, you've been listening to Madam Emma Adousu, and she's an image consultant and a branding coach. She's a CEO of Cobadem Image Consultancy. Thank you so much, Madam, for coming. I would look for you again for us to continue.
Absolutely.
Have a great day. So, listeners, yes, that's been Personal Growth and Development Mondays. We're coming back with the last round before we walk out of this place. This is still Zen in the Morning. I am Jerry Halm.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
So I should touch on that. So I'm going to oblige Sir Charles Quist Street. Why is it? It's in front of Ohinijan Stadium, Accra Sports Stadium in Osu. There's a Sir Charles Quist Street. The name you should remember in this discussion is Sir Emmanuel Charles Quist, who is an OB, also known as Park Quist. He was a barrister, educator, and a judge who served as the first speaker of the Gold Coast Legislative Assembly and the first speaker of the Parliament of Ghana. Sir Emmanuel Charles Quist is the name behind Sir Charles Quist Street. So now you know, and I hope that makes you feel a little smarter. This is Z in the Morning. the Monday edition. Hope you had a great time all through from 5:55 to this time. But before we walk out, as always, I'll have to leave you with a statement. Pray like it only depends on God, but work like it only depends on you. Have a good one, people. We'll do this again tomorrow by the grace of God.